We are gathered here to learn about the book, The Autobiography of the Yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda. This is Sindhu. She's just finished reading this book for the second time, and she is here to give us insights on this book. Sindhu ma'am is a dedicated meditation teacher from Bangalore, Karnataka, with a professional background in software engineering spanning 13 years. Sindhu has been practicing Anapanasati meditation for over 17 years. Guidance was received from a friend during school days, initiating Sindhu's journey into meditation. Sindhu has been inspired by the teachings of Patriji and has read various spiritual books recommended by Patriji himself. She has made significant contributions to the Pyramid Spiritual Societies movement, PSSM, for over 15 years, including website development, designing, and publishing. Sindhu has also served as a sub-editor for the Kannada monthly magazine, Dhyana Kasturi, and has designed and published several spiritual books in Kannada, Telugu, and in English. Additionally, she has been part of the social media marketing team as well. Notably, with Patriji, first initiated the PMC Kannada project. Sindhu played a pioneering role as an initial team member, demonstrating her dedication and commitment to the cause. With extensive experience leading meditation sessions in schools and centers, Sindhu is passionate about guiding individuals on their spiritual journey, fostering their inner peace, balance, and self awareness. So, we'll welcome Sindhu ma'am here. Welcome, Sindhu ma'am.
Thank you, Shilpa. After 17 years into meditation, now when I read this book, it was a very smooth flow. So, what happens when we read a book is we connect with that master. Whenever you read a book, you are living that master's life. So, it is like if you have read 100 books, you have lived 100 lives. You have learned from 100 masters. We only know people who are famous, who are popular. But what about those sages, those rishis, sages who are unknown to the world? But their contribution is enormous, I can say. After reading this book, I don't know, somehow I'm so matured, I can say. No matter what happens, whatever challenge happen, I feel these people have gone through n number of things, and in front of them I'm nothing, and whatever I am going through is nothing. So they are the inspiration of how to live. Every moment I think, okay, what they used to do, what they have done, what is their energy level, and then I calm down, I go through, it's okay, and observe my breath and come back. Beyond this book, in every step, his guru, his master is the Yukteswar Giri, and Yukteswar Giri's guru Lahari Mahasaya and his guru Mahavatar Babaji. This is their lineage. Babaji had told Yukteswar Giri that I will send you a boy who will go to the West and teach meditation there. And that was Paramahamsa Yogananda. So he goes to Yukteswar Giri and learns everything. So when Yukteswar Giri is teaching about all the scriptures, about the Christian Bible, there are students, and Paramahamsa Yogananda is just a very young boy and he's listening to Yukteswar Giri. Immediately, Yukteswar Giri says, "You're not here." He says, no, I'm here. I didn't even move my body. I didn't even think anything. And whatever you told just now, I can repeat every word to word. Then Yukteswar Giri says, in your subconscious mind, in your mental plane, you are thinking about the 3 centers which you will establish. One on the plain, one on the mountain in the west, and one near the ocean. These 3 buildings, about this you are thinking. And then Paramahamsa Yogananda is really shocked. He's like, what can I do of such a master who is penetrating in my thoughts, in my mind also? And then Yukteswar Giri says, those will happen. But right now, it is steady time. I want you to listen to what I'm telling you. And then the class continues. He listens to the class. But after so many years, he establishes a center in Ranchi, near the plain, and one more in the west, in the US, on the mountain hilltop, and one exactly near opposite Pacific Ocean. He has established so many schools, he has established so many spiritual centers, not just in India, but abroad, in the West. And so there are so many students of Paramahamsa Yogananda ji. And even till date, those centers are continuing. Paramahamsa Yogananda ji has written his experiences with Gandhi ji, totally awestruck. A freedom fighter, nationalist, he is a true saint. Gandhi ji is a true saint. The vegetarianism food he follows, the Mauna he follows on Mondays, and the Ahimsa definition which Gandhiji gives. Yogananda ji asks, what is Ahimsa? Gandhiji says, Ahimsa is not just in your action, it is even in your thought. So that just blew my mind. And Yogananda ji asks, what will you do if a cobra comes? Will you not attack it? Yogananda ji asks. And Gandhiji says, no, I won't attack. Slowly through my thoughts, I will give an unconditional love to the cobra so that it will calm down. And even if it bites me, I'm okay. It is doing its nature. Why should I reduce my principles of ahimsa and go and hit it? I'm not ready to do that. I'm ready to die. This is what Gandhiji says. The number of people Yogananda ji has met, be it a scientist or a freedom fighter like Gandhiji, or many masters, or Giribala, Anand Yogi Ma, many other masters, they walked to those places and they met the masters. Swamis and masters he has mentioned, like Tiger Swami, a saint with 2 bodies. All these masters, the Swamiji says only one thing. No matter what I have learned, I have come back again to spirituality. I became very famous that I can fight the tigers, and I became very popular. But after all that, again I've come back to my original state, and now I meditate hours together, and I know that now spirituality lies in this meditation, in not becoming famous or in not becoming popular. That spirituality lies not in showing miracles or in magic, in showing our siddhis, but spirituality lies in subtle things. In subtle things. The way you speak, the way you understand others, the energies around you. Enough of being in the West. Come to India and I'll soon vacate my body. After receiving this message from his guru Yukteswar Giri, he returns back to India. In those days, they traveled months together in ship. So after a few months, he came to his guru. Really, friends, there are moments in this book when I had tears in my eyes. After so many years, a guru meeting his friend, his disciple, and literally when they look at each other, there's no words at all because of the physical years gap. So after coming back to India, being with his guru for a few days, again Paramahamsa Yogananda says, I want to go to Rishikesh, I want to go to the Kumbh Mela, which is happening there. And he says, I want to see Babaji if he'll come to the Kumbh Mela. Yukteswar Giri insistently says him, you won't find Babaji there. It is not now the time that you will meet him. You'll meet him later. There's no need for you to go to the Kumbh Mela. But still, Yukteswar Yogananda makes plans of going to the Kumbh Mela. And then the Guru says nothing. He says, okay, fine. And then all his friends and disciples, they go. And Yukteswar Giri waves him by and they all leave for the Mela. One person who was with Yukteswar Giri, later he says to Paramahamsa Yogananda, the moment you left to Mela along with all the people, Yukteswar Giri just broke down. He just sat on the floor and he says, my Yogananda has gone, my Yogananda has gone. I don't know how I could make him stay, he has gone. That is one breakdown point of Yukteswar Giri. When he goes to the Mela, Paramahamsa Yogananda, his guru Yukteswar Giri vacates the body. So you see, friends, even if it is in the finest and peak moment also, a guru is like a friend. You want to go, go. They guide, they don't interfere, they don't pressure. And their guidance is always there. When Yogananda again returns back and he is in full tears and he's crying, I missed your last day. I should have been with you. I don't know why I went. Still, Yukteswar Giri again, he comes back in his original form, in his body and flesh. And he says, you see, I've come back to you. Touch me. And then Yogananda ji goes and hugs him, not just touches. And he's not even ready to leave. So he is holding him so tightly. Yukteswar Giri says, just loosen a bit, it's so tight. So there is not a single moment where, even though Yogananda ji goes to the West, becomes such a great master, there's not an ounce of ego or a thing like I have become famous or popular. He's always grateful to his teacher. When the guru is with us physically, it's always blissful. We are under our mother's lap always. We are under that tree. We are under that umbrella. When the guru vacates the body, you have to get that connection with the master, with the guru, for that eternal guidance, for that eternal friendship. That's important. Mahathir Babaji was in a Kumbh Mela, and you know what he was doing? Just a normal person who has come to the Kumbh Mela. He was serving him food, washing the utensils, and washing the feet of the people who have come there. Babaji's disciples saw him and he was shocked. Babaji, what are you doing? You're washing the feet of the people who are not even just meditators. They have just come to the Mela, that's all. You see, he has not seen any difference between the people who are meditating or who are masters or who are normal people. The greatest Guru, Babaji himself, is doing that, washing the feet, serving food, and then afterwards cleaning the utensils. Then who are we, friends? Who are we? Lahari Master was with Babaji and they both meditated in the same cave. There comes a point where Lahari Master had to vacate the body and again take birth. So he vacates the body. But you see here, throughout, Babaji was with Lahari Master. When he vacated the body, when he went to the higher realms, he was there, he was looking after. And then again, when the Hari Master took rebirth as just a baby in the womb of a mother, and then a baby, then child, then adolescence, then youth. So everywhere throughout his life, Babaji was with him, just waiting like an eternal mother, just waiting for that right time. And then one time comes when his posting, Lahari Maharaj's job posting, happens near the Himalayas, and there the one day comes when he has to meet Babaji. That is when he meets Babaji. For him, it is the first day when he meets his guru. But Babaji has waited for eons before the birth and after the life, after death, again the birth, and then waited till he becomes adult and his job gets posted there, and then he initiates him into the meditation. We think we have a lot of patience, but really we should learn from our teachers, our gurus, the patience they have. One point comes when Babaji decides he has to vacate his body. And then there's an immediate meeting which happens. And in that meeting, 4 people were there. So Babaji's sister says, brother, I could read your thoughts that you want to vacate the body. And then Babaji says, yes. What is the difference in this physical body or without the physical body? I'm always there. I'm eternal, he says. Then his sister says, that is true, master, but still, what is the difference whether you are there or whether you are here? So be here in the same physical body. And that's when Babaji decides he has to be in the same physical body eternally. And so we know even till date he's living in the Himalaya.
I had actually tears in my eyes when you said Babaji had gone to that Kumbh Mela and he was, washing everyone's feet. What a great master he is. And he goes down in his ego so low that he's testing his ego. Can he do that? So he's actually doing it. So we can learn so much from him. That really blew my mind. Yeah, I have this book right now. I have bought it. So I'm going to start reading it.
Thank you, Sindhu ma'am, for your time and explanation of all the details about the book. I'm just curious. You said the first time you were not able to read the book, and after 17 years of meditation, you got back. I'm just wondering if I am ready for the book yet. Sometimes it makes you wonder, like because some books feel heavy, and then even I skip it, and then when do you know you're ready for a book? Like, do you just start reading it, or like if you get what is there a guideline or anything?
No, ma'am. Just start the book because sometimes whether we understand or not, that knowledge and wisdom seeps into us. And moreover, it's more like you're connecting to those energies. So even when I read for the first time, though it was very difficult and it took a lot of time, still I had many experiences where I could see some pink light coming from my fingers, yellow light coming, and I could connect with the masters, and especially that Babaji part and all. Even that time I had very good experiences. So though I could not understand and though it was so difficult to complete the book itself, but still you see I had some experiences then.
The first time when you were reading
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
it was like super smooth and flow and easy, and every part of the book I remember. It is like that. The whole book is in my head.
Okay. And so, do you think the guru chooses the disciple or the disciple chooses the guru?
Ma'am, you will definitely get guidance in meditation. Okay. So once we continue doing meditation, whatever is our soul plan or soul purpose, we automatically connect with that. And you see, whatever is our soul plan or purpose, no, somewhere our life will be on that only. You see, many times Yogananda ji wanted to go to Himalayas, but his purpose was not there. But still, he felt that urge to go to the Himalayas because meditation and all. But he couldn't go. So at last, he had to take his guru's help to go there. So if our purpose is not there, it will not happen.
So first you have to figure out your purpose, and that happens through introspection or meditation or realization.
Only meditation is enough. Everything will happen automatically.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sandhya ma'am, do you want to talk?
Hello.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, ma'am. Last month only I read this book. It took 1 month for me.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And fully it is, as you said, fully it is very nice. The book is very nice, wonderful. And nearly 3-4 times I connected with energies. When I was reading, suddenly I got energies fully. I deep in energies.
Yes, yes. Awesome.
Books are not just books. Their soul lives in each page of the books. They are not mere print papers or black and white ink is on there. The soul of the author remains in the words and letters and pages of the book. I know I have great experiences of this kind. They live in the books, actually, to tell you the truth. They live in the book.
Very true.
One experience of my fellow traveler in the journey, I had gifted that book to her. She gave it to her daughter. It so happened on one night at 3 a.m., she took up the book and started reading it. She told me next day, Paramahamsa Yogananda appeared immediately. He said, No, my dear child, this is not the way to read. I'll tell you how to read.
Wow.
You drew chair before her and he started teaching how it should be read.
Awesome.